a special presentation of ABC Sports.
ABC Sports presents, live in its 30th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today, from Grand Prairie, Texas, it's the $150,000 Quaker State Open. Our first game will see five-time champion and United States Open winner Ron Palombi of Erie, Pennsylvania. His opponent is the current president of the PBA from Madison, Wisconsin, Marc McDowell. That winner will meet the reigning PBA Player of the Year, has been for the past 2 seasons, and as well as Amleto Monacelli. In the semifinal game, Mike Aulby of Indianapolis will be looking for his 20th PBA title. And our tournament leader needs to win just 1 game for his first PBA championship, Mike Edwards of Tulsa. That's our outstanding field of finalists for today's Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. Return to the Fort Worth Dallas Metroplex, that vast area that includes Grand Prairie, Texas, always the scene of the finals of the Quaker State Open. The same week as the Quaker State is the Fort Worth Rodeo and Livestock Show. For a total of 95 years, it has been a reflection of the past and present of the state of Texas and its ranching. Again, I'm Chris Schenkel. A rodeo always takes place here, but for me, as a farm boy and a 4-H club boy here in the John Justin Arena, this is where I get excited because Steve Besner of Texline, Texas, is leading in his grand champion steer named Ace, a European mixed breed, 1,200 pounds. Take a look at a grand champion. That's it. Nice going.
Thank you.
I know that my colleague Nelson Burton Jr. has raised cattle as well and has great appreciation for the stakes right here on the hoof. Let's go to the forum lanes now and hear from Bo. Nelson?
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. I've raised many a steer in my time, but none quite as beautiful as Ace, the Grand National Champion. And speaking of stakes, the stakes are high here at the Quaker State Open, $150,000 in prize money. And we have a large crowd here today, and we have some controversy today. But first, let's look at our field, a very strong field, but we have the appearance of the Player of the Year the last 2 years for his first tournament. Amleto Monacelli, you're back in action, but you've been out the first couple of weeks. Why'd you skip?
The reason I skipped is because I was a little afraid of the war that we have in the Middle East, but finally I decided to come out because I knew that the war wasn't going to be over, so here I am again.
Well, the war is eventually going to be over and we're going to win. Now, how about today? Who's going to win the tournament?
Well, I would say everyone in the field is pretty tough. I think it's a matter of great bowling.
All right, I pick Aulby. He's going to be very tough, and it's been a very tough championship pair this week. It's been a little bit controversial. Let's take a look at how the PBA has put down the oil pattern. First place, it's been 30 feet down the lane, and it's equal gutter to gutter. There is no build-up in the center, nothing to pull the ball against, and if you send it wide, it stays wide. The PBA has pulled the oil down to 45 feet, and then it's dry the last 15 feet, a very demanding lane condition. Now, we have one left-hander in the field, Mike Aulby. He's playing around the second arrow, swinging out to the left edge. Now, on this PBA lane condition, the right-handers have played a lot of different angles. Most of the righties have been around the center of the lane, trying to hook it into the 1-3, and our tournament leader, who ran away with the tournament, Mike Edwards, is between the second and third arrow. Now, Chris, speaking of pairs, you have one to talk about.
Yes, we do, because Wide World of Sports immediately follows the Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. And on it, it's a 2-part beautiful show, starting with the World Challenge of Champions pairs competition from Barcelona, Spain. And then always the perennial champions. There they are, the Harlem Globetrotters from Walt Disney World in Florida. So it's figure skating and the Trotters. $30,000 out of the $150,000 total. That's the winner's share, 15-5, 85-7, and 6. So we go to our first match at Ron Palombi Jr. of Erie, Pennsylvania, going against Madison, Wisconsin's Marc McDowell. Marc, a 28-year-old, and so is Ron, who won the United States Open on our telecast last year at Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, Bo, here we go. Starting off with the 4 big ones.
Well, the championship pair, 39 and 40 here. Historically, the left lane is hooked a little bit more, and Ron Palombi proves it right away. As you see him, the inside line, deep inside. between the third and fourth arrows. He cuts right through the middle, 4, 6, 7, 10. He'll just go for 2 of them.
So he gets 1, 3, still stands, so it's a count of 7. First frame, Ron Palombi. Ron's first appearance this year for Marc McDowell. It's his second. He was 4th at the AC Delco Classic in Torrance 4 weeks ago. First shot. So the youngest ever president of the PBA, Marc McDowell, with a strike.
McDowell, a very powerful player, kind of emphasizes his football background, 5-step delivery, good pivot step. See him on the deep inside line, a lot of speed, and a perfect strike to start the match.
1986 PBA Rookie of the Year with 2 titles to his credit. Big double. Marc McDowell jumps out to a 23-pin lead. Our statistician today from California, Butch Soper.
Ron Palombi on the championship pair only averaged 173 for his 2 games this week on the pair, so he's definitely not the favorite in this match, and right now he's trailing by 23.
Didn't get a break on the right lane, leaving the 10-pin in our first match.
6 feet 3 inches tall, a very short swing, short steps. Gets a good loft on the ball. Nice shot there, leaves the 10-pin. And even the spares haven't been just a piece of cake to make this week, Chris. The center of the lane's very dry, the outside's a little bit slick.
Ron made 3 telecasts last year, including a victory in Phoenix, as he won 3 games to do it. And of course today, for both Marc and Ron, their work is really cut out, and Marc is working on that 16-pounder.
Well, Marc is putting some tape in the finger holes and thumb holes. A good tip for anybody. Try to keep that ball as comfortable as you possibly can. As your hand goes up or down, don't be afraid to insert a piece of tape. Now, Palombi trying to get the action going for himself, 23 pins behind.
Okay, that's more like the Ron Palombi, who has 5 PBA titles to his credit, 8 years as a member of the PBA.
McDowell, a very deliberate player. In our first championship round of the year at the AC Delco Classic, he was fined $100 for going past the 25-second rule of getting a shot off.
Well, it's a 3-bagger. The youngest president of the PBA. Earlier, we asked him what he'd like to see accomplished during his tenure as Prexy.
Well, Bo, I'd like to see a couple things happen. The lawsuit kind of separated the players in the office and the PBA, and I think we need to get back together and work together. And also, the American Bowling Congress and the PBA are starting to work together, and hopefully we can continue doing that and make it one strong force in bowling.
The lawsuit he's talking about is the touring players were suing the home office. That's all been rectified.
And those things are always costly in more than one way. All right.
After 3 strikes in a row, he goes high on the left-hand lane, gets a real good break. Almost leaves the 6, 7, 10 split, knocks out the 6. Only the 10-pin remaining.
All right. Marc McDowell, Madison, Wisconsin, leads here by 32. We'll be back.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Only one antiperspirant in the world helps keep you so dry with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice. Only one deodorant in the world has so many odor-fighting ingredients with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice. There's only one Old Spice.
When you're all stuffed up and use an ordinary nasal spray, it drips into your tissue where it can't help you breathe. But not Sinex Ultrafine Mist. Its medicine stays where you need it, so you can breathe the way you want to. We don't drip down, we clear up.
Freedent's the one.
Only one gum leads the way when you've got dental work, and that's Freedent. Freedent won't stick to your dental work, so you can be confident chewing it. And because it also moistens your mouth and freshens your breath, Freedent's in a class by itself.
Freedent's the one that took the stick out of gum, and Freedent moistens your mouth. Yeah, moistens your mouth and freshens your breath while you chew.
Non-stick Freedent moistens your mouth and freshens your breath.
Yes, each year of the 17 that we've come here, 15 Quaker State Open, standing room only at the Forum Lanes in Grand Prairie, Texas. Trailing by 32, but he has a strike up is Ron Palombi, Pennsylvania. He cut the lead to 22, right lane. Another 10-pin on the right lane.
Boy, that was a good shot, though. The 10-pin he left in the second frame was kind of the half 10, as we say. That time, Ron Palombi, watch the action of the second pin on the right-hand part of your screen. The 6-pin flies around the belly of the 10-pin. Bad break for Palombi. He needed it to catch up.
All right. One of the great inside players. Why is he so good from that angle?
Well, I feel comfortable inside because it's a shot I grew up with back home. I played the track, second, third, fourth arrow all my life, and out here on tour, it seems that that shot, you know, favors me because that's how my arm swing is. It's a good inside-out release and everything, and plus I have a good loft on the ball, so it helps get the ball down the lane when they're hooking.
Okay, Ron Palombi.
Kind of ties in with the bowling tip of the week this week. Watch later on.
Nice little body English to the line by this tall professional, but he's still dissatisfied. You saw him shaking his head. Marc McDowell is wearing the wireless microphone. He's been very quiet thus far. Let's see if we can hear anything after the shot.
Ooh from the crowd. That means they all didn't go down.
Right.
So let's see the power of McDowell at the bottom of the swing. The key point in the sport of bowling is the last step and a half. McDowell's close to the foul line, good lift, and he's low to the line. Now the 10-pin doesn't quite behave the way he wants it to, so with this spare, he would still lead the match by 31.
Okay, McDowell and Palombi, the winner to meet Amleto Monacelli, and then followed by Mike Aulby and our tournament leader, Mike Edwards.
You see the deep inside line that Marc McDowell is playing. Now watch, he'll stand to the extreme left side of the approach, way over in this area. He'll slide way over in this area. And watch the trajectory of his ball. It'll be right between the third and fourth arrows. You don't see it very often where a player plays in that zone. Very difficult to strike from that area. But that's the only way to handle these dry lanes. And he emphasizes what I just talked about, that deep inside line. You don't get as much angle to the 1-3 pocket. You don't drive the pins as hard back towards the back row. Obviously, that time he left a 7-pin. On an outside shot, as his wife looks on, Meg, you would carry the 7-pin on that shot.
Pretty lady, pretty blue eyes. Patty McDowell. Now here's her husband. Not so good, Bo.
Not even close. Cross lane, tried to straighten the shot out a little bit, and missed that very badly. And if anything gives an opponent a shot of adrenaline is when a player misses an easy spare. So watch how Palombi reacts. He has a chance to cut the lead down to just 9 pins here in the 6th.
What a dramatic change. As he opened in the very first frame, now he's faced with a 4, 6, 7, 10 again.
He's faced with the idea of maybe going for it this time. You see the ball drifting high, and he almost has to take an attempt at going for the 6-10 zone and hopefully bouncing one of them over into the 4-7. A lot of speed.
So just when the opportunity presented itself, you come up with a bad break on the right lanes. Well, you professionals, Bo, have this great ability to rebound. When things go bad in the next frame, you usually come back with a powerful one.
Well, Palombi's been really good on the left-hand lane. He had a split there in the first frame, but in the third and fifth frames, he's throwing real good shots. Needs to get some strikes going, keep some pressure on McDowell.
Scratching his head, I don't blame him.
Well, when you're behind on, as we said, the PBA lane maintenance crew, and there's a crew that comes every week and puts down the shot, as we call it, in every bowling center. The house has nothing really to do with it. When they're tough, you get open frames, it's hard to pick it up with strikes because it's hard to string a big string of strikes.
Yes, they compete under PBA lane conditions. We're at Forum Lanes in Grand Prairie, Texas, where we'll return after this.
You?
Yeah, me.
Russ, you have no eye for color.
I'm picking out the paint. I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You can do it, Russ. This True Test custom color system makes it easy to match colors, just like a decorator.
Admit it, Ellen. I picked out the perfect colors.
Yes, but who would ever believe it?
You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
By sea, by air. Brand new characters invade Walt Disney World. They're the Harlem Globetrotters. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
There was an eighth frame shot by the president of the PBA. Fourth qualifier here, Marc McDowell of Madison, Wisconsin, retaining a lead of 33 pins. His opponent is the reigning United States Open champion, Ron Palombi of Erie, Pennsylvania, where later on in our tour we will have a live telecast. He has a spare up, and he'll be shooting in the eighth frame while we were away. McDowell in the seventh marked with a spare. Crossing over, breaking up the split, but leaving the 3-pin. It's been a confusing day for Ron Palombi as we go down to Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Amleto Monacelli, very low scores, unexpectedly low. Any particular game plan going into the match that you have coming up?
Even if it's low, I'm going to be very aggressive and try to concentrate on my game and make good shots.
Well, open frames will be a killer and low-scoring match. Hope you keep it clean. He'll be coming up next, Chris.
Okay. The defending champion here at Forum Lanes in the Quaker State Open, Randy Peterson, finished 52nd. 2 years ago, a local professional, but one of the kings on the tour, Del Ballard, he won, but this year he finished 29th, returning to the tour for the first time this year. And a 2 sleeper 8 for the Open champion, Palombi.
Palombi has been somewhat confused from the onset as he started with a split. If he converts this spare, a difficult 2-8, he could still bowl a 180 game. He has an outside chance in the match, but McDowell only needs 1 mark in the last 2 frames.
Okay, next Saturday, ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour continues as we roll into the Sunshine State for the debut of the $130,000 Florida Open. Live coverage begins at 3, 2 Central on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Mickey and Minnie.
Well, the first one down there is going to be Ron Palombi because he has just been shut out by Marc McDowell. McDowell has a potential 236. He looks real sharp, real confident, and he's waiting for that ball, and that's so important under the pressure and on a demanding shot such as this. He's only had 1 open frame, and that was that missed 7-pin in the 6th frame.
up will be Amleto
I need to
Monacelli.
practice on that one anyway.
Kind of a satirical remark at the 7th pin. That's the spare he missed on this lane in the 6th frame. Even if he doesn't convert it here, he is the winner and will meet Monacelli in the next match.
Then if you just joined us, it'll be Mike Aulby as we look at Patty McDowell. Marc McDowell, a West Texas State College bowler. Monacelli, McDowell next. Final score after this ABC Sports presentation. The Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message.
Just a reminder, proper maintenance with AC Delco parts can significantly reduce premature wrinkles. AC Delco, it's like buying time.
Why do women always know when you're not telling them the whole story? And why do they always change plans at the last minute? And why do we keep putting up with them?
Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So while women may remain a mystery, refreshment won't.
Here's to a star or a coffin.
He got what he was after. That day on the Little Bighorn. Son of the Morning Star. Tomorrow.
Harrisburg Copiers wants to help your business be more productive with Meta high-performance copiers, the advanced copying system for today's business needs, the pressures of business. Today's copiers must be faster, easier to use, more reliable, versatility and productivity. Meta Copiers, performance and beyond. Harrisburg Copiers stands behind every Meta copier with service and reliability. See the selection of quality Meta copiers at Harrisburg Copiers. Simply the best with 25 years experience.
Next on the best of the National Geographic specials, at the speed of a shutter, or in the expanse of an eternity, we find a miraculous landscape where time is stilled, where the minute become monstrous, where the beautiful and the bizarre combine in a breathtaking kaleidoscope. Journey beyond the naked eye into the invisible world.
Tonight at 7. WHTM TV 27, Harrisburg.
The Professional Bowlers Tour. Brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
There's Marc McDowell winning the first match over Ron Palombi by a score of 215 to 169. 6 strikes. And as a result, you see he moves up the ladder. Goes head-to-head now with Amleto Monacelli. Texas Wright Hospital for Children has always benefited by this event, and I'm flattered, Bo, that all the children at the hospital got together, did some finger painting, hand painting on a popcorn container, as they know my love of popcorn and growing it. Isn't that sweet?
That's very nice. Little known fact about Chris Schenkel, a former popcorn farmer, if I recall, over 400 acres at one time.
Eat a lot of it. Okay, here we go. Amleto Monacelli. Barquisimeto, Venezuela, and from Madison, Wisconsin, Marc McDowell. You think he's wearing red, white, and blue today and a yellow ribbon? You bet.
And he's ready. Loosened up, has the style to work on these very tough and demanding lanes.
Hook up.
There's such a temptation to pull the ball from the deep inside line because you don't want to give it enough room. But what happens is a player pulls it and gets high, and he'll end up getting a lot of splits. Now, right here, he needs to get the ball in this zone and take out the 2, 4, and 5 for an easy conversion. If he can keep the ball light, you can make your spares. That's the way to play match play competition on tough lanes.
Okay. Powerful ball, as you can see and hear. All right, now we're going to get, for the first time in 1991, a look at The Player of the Year, not only last year, but the prior year, Amleto Monacelli. First shot. Oh, yes. Makes it look so easy.
Kind of a menagerie of all the great styles of the 60s and 70s. He opens his hand like Roth, tucks it inside like Holman, uses just medium speed like the great Earl Anthony, but he gets the result that only Monacelli has gotten in the last couple of years as he's dominated the Pro Bowlers Tour in 89 and 90 as the Player of the Year.
43rd television appearance, where he's averaged .212. One of each now for Amleto Monacelli, doubling here, putting the pressure on Marc McDowell, who won the first match if he just joined us, 215 to Ron Palombi's 169.
Great break for Monacelli there, crossing over, making the most out of the strike in the first frame.
McDowell is ready for match number 2. West Texas State, one of the many, many colleges and universities that have bowling competition on a collegiate level.
Made the national team, all-star team in his junior and senior years, and graduated from West Texas State with a general business degree. Now the youngest president of the PBA, trying to even this match up, third frame.
No. Come on.
6-7-10 split, and we've seen all the players struggling on the left-hand lane. It was the undoing of Ron Palombi, and for Mark, what he has to do is get the ball over in the 6-7 zone and drive that 6-pin over into the 7.
Big try by Marc McDowell, so
McDowell just catches a little bit too much of the 6-pin, just misses the back of the 7. Wide open door for Monacelli.
Can increase the lead to 32. Double working. All but the 10.
Tremendous speed difference between Monacelli and McDowell. Monacelli using ball speed of around 16 miles an hour and opting to let the ball roll all over the lane and kind of roll out and straighten out in the 1-3 zone 60 feet away. McDowell with about 20 miles an hour speed trying to ram it home in the 1-3 pocket. Two ways to attack this lane condition.
Last year, Amleto lost here at Grand Prairie. What mistakes did he make, and what can we look for today from him?
I really don't like to think about it. It's kind of early in the year. I would think about it maybe in 2 tournaments to go, but right now I just got to concentrate on my game and do the best I can through the whole year and see what happens then.
Last year he qualified 3rd and lost his match. Today he looks for a little better positive attitude.
3-6-10 now for Monacelli, who had opened with a double, looked perfect. But since now, marking with a spare in the 3rd, have to cover the 3-6-10 to mark again in the 4th. Our second match from Forum Lanes, Grand Prairie, Texas. Quaker State Open. All right. We'll return to the Forum Lanes after this message.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee. A guarantee so tough, your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Why? Because bowling's high rollers are there for the Florida Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
That's next week, Winter Haven, Florida. Right now, it's Grand Prairie, Texas. Standing room only crowd at the Forum Lanes, and they care. See the flag, the yellow ribbons, the heart and the yellow ribbon on each of the bowlers, and Bo and myself wearing them, made by Patsy Thurman, who has 2 family members serving. Okay, Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Mike Aulby. The right-handers are playing a deep inside line because the track's worn. How about the left side? Do you have to go the same way?
Well, yesterday I was a little bit deeper. It looks like I'm going to go a little farther left and go a little straighter up the edge. Not right up the edge, but it's pretty straight.
You feel like you have a little edge when the right-handers are real deep and you can get a little more angle of attack?
Not really. I think the score's going to be low no matter what happens, and I just need to keep from hitting the ball and get the ball down the lane.
Chris, he's my pick. He'll be in the semifinal match. Back to you.
Okay. Marc McDowell.
Shot.
Oh, yes, he liked that. Listen. High-stepping Marc McDowell. And he has cut the lead to 8 pins. Watch this. Okay. Shake and bake. Venezuela, Monacelli, spare working, 5th frame. A 10.
Monacelli keeping the ball around the pocket, bowling a good match. He's struggled a little bit on the right-hand lane with the 10-pin. I see the long slide, the pivot step. See his wrist go underneath the ball. One of the key things, and that shot emphasizes, you see the 10-pin, is a player doesn't go over the top of the ball with his fingers. He stays underneath it until after the ball's off his hand.
All right, tomorrow ABC Sports presents a college basketball doubleheader. First, Purdue takes on 3rd-ranked Ohio State. Then regional coverage as Rutgers meets #1 UNLV, or Georgia takes on Kentucky. That's tomorrow right here, ABC. Today, we're in Grand Prairie, Texas. Amleto Monacelli, Player of the Year the last 2 years. Opened with 2 like that and then marked with spares. So the match is close, but McDowell now can increase his lead to 17, double working.
McDowell a little anxious with that shot. Pulls it across his body. You watch players when the lanes are dry, having to play a deep inside line, and you watch from this angle, have more of a tendency to pull the ball high instead of trusting it wide. Gets a good break and leaves only the 3-6-10 spare. If he converts this, he'll trail by 10.
Earlier here, in fact, the first match, we're in match number 2. McDowell defeating Ron Palombi 215 to 169. And Patty watches the overhead score sheet.
I sat next to her in the position round game last night, the 42nd game, as he bowled Monacelli, and she was rooting Marc on, as she is today. So right now he trails by 10 pins, 7th frame.
Knew the minute he released it.
A couple of bad breaks by Marc McDowell. It's very quiet in the championship round of bowling. And as he says something about timing, couldn't have come at a better time. You see him going high. In the 6th frame, somebody at the right of us dropped a paper cup after he released the ball. But here on the 7th frame, as he's going into that final step, somebody dropped the cup and he just jerked up on the shot. He's lucky to avoid the split.
Our second match here in Grand Prairie, Texas. 11 pins separate McDowell and Monacelli.
I think if you're left, I don't know, right, my... Okay, that's fine.
Power. Control.
It's what makes us excel beyond others. Power Stick Antiperspirant. It excels. 50% more power for stroke. 50% more odor and wetness fighters. 24-hour protection. 24-hour control that lasts long after ordinary deodorant sticks start losing speed. All day, all night. Power Stick. The power that puts you in control.
I'm working and you're sneezing.
Well, I took a cold pill this morning. Didn't last. Take contact. That's the one with those 600 Tiny Tide pills.
That lasts 12 hours. That's up to 3 times longer than the ordinary cold medicine you took. There's a whole day's work in every contact.
I get it. Oh.
Ah, finito. Contact saved the day.
There's a whole day's work in every contact.
The Harlem Globetrotters bring their basketball magic to Walt Disney World. Plus, skating's top pairs light up the ice. It's all next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
And here in Texas, the tournament leader from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mike Edwards. 3rd consecutive telecast. He has yet to win. He has to win only one game today to win his first PBA title. Can he do it? Monacelli says not, and so do a couple of others. 10-pin.
Second solid 10 we've seen on that lane for Monacelli. Left one in the 5th frame. As the ball enters the 1-3 pocket, the 6 goes flying over the top of the 10. Demanding lane conditions, but you know what, Chris? If you just make your spares, don't get too many open frames, you're going to win a lot of matches. And that's how these players got here, because they only averaged about 210, 212 this week, and that's not very high, but it's good match game competition.
10 years for Monacelli, and the PBA has 9 championships. And he is one of those professionals that had 6 second-place finishes before his first title, which he won in 1987 at the Japan Cup.
And speaking of that, Chris, let's take a look at the position of Monacelli. He's going to start here in the center, then he's going to drift a little bit to the left, and he's going to try to play a shot between the 2nd, 3rd arrows all the way out to almost the channel. Medium speed.
It out a little bit.
Well, almost a double dribble, Chris. He kind of lost it, and then he grabbed it and it bounced. You could hear it bounce at the foul line. When that happens, it's just pot luck. Now watch this release. Boom, boom. Before he released the ball hit behind the foul line on the approach, which is not a foul. Then it went out and lofted over the foul line and did not get that smooth ball reaction. Very lucky to get only a single pin spare.
As Bo indicated, it pays to get those spares, and that's what Monacelli's been doing, continuing to mark. McDowell now up, spare working, shooting in the 8th frame, as Mike Aulby continues to practice. Off to our right, you hear the pin fall. He will meet the winner.
Shot by McDowell using a little extra ball speed, doesn't quite take out the 10-pin. Now watch him as he drives through on his pivot step right here into the foul line, about an inch behind the line. Good, solid foundation at the line. 3-pound, 8-ounce pins. You see the ball deflect behind the 10-pin. That shows you the ball's not driving through from that inside line.
That's lane again.
Now we can watch on weeks when the players can play the extreme outside line, when the oil pattern is set up by the PBA, where they can play around the first arrow. Chris, the ball end up behind the 8-pin.
Your tip of the week today.
Today it involves adjusting to lane conditions by lofting or rolling at the foul line. As you see the studious face of Monacelli contemplating his 11-pin lead. A key shot for McDowell as he comes up in the 9th.
Never looks at his opponent's efforts. Satisfied, Patty McDowell.
As we come into the 9th frame for Monacelli, leads by 11, working at a 2:04 pace. That's if he strikes spare the rest of the way. We figure 2:04. McDowell has a potential 2:13. It's up for grabs.
These professionals are terrific under pressure. When the heat's on, they come through.
That's that big bomb of Monacelli's. He just sawed that 5-pin right out of there. It's the first light hit we've seen in the whole match where anybody hit light and carried. Now, Monacelli can shut out McDowell, but he has to strike on the next 2 balls. Anything less, McDowell can still take it in the 10th.
How'd that happen, Bo?
Well, Chris, that's a 1989-1990 Bowler of the Year relaxed shot under pressure. You get those when you know you're the best in the world, you're well-trained. This young man has probably trained and dedicated himself more to this game than anybody since, I would say, Earl Anthony or Don Carter, and showing up right now in a clutch 10th frame, but he still needs this strike to advance to the semifinal.
Or Bo Burton at his peak.
Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. Stringing them and winning. The tip of the week, of course, lofting the ball and ball speed. Here's the master of it, Monacelli. Bo Burton will talk about it. Next match, Aulby and Monacelli. Don't go away.
ABC Sports Bowling Tip of the Week is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Last week's bowling tip dealt with reading the lanes. This week, I'll show you how to adjust to those various lane conditions. There are 2 types of lane conditions, the dry or hooking and the wet and oily. First, the dry hooking lane condition. Stand very erect throughout the approach. A nice long backswing for a little extra speed, not much knee bend at the foul line, and a good loft over the line. This will delay the hook and control the dry lane. Now the opposite is true for the wet lane. You want to be much lower throughout the approach, a very deep knee bend, and no loft at the foul line. This will get the ball rolling very early and allow you to get a little hook on the wet lane. So remember, for the dry lane, have a long approach, not much knee bend, and a good loft. For the wet lane, get very low at the foul line, roll that ball smoothly. You'll have the success that you need in our sport.
Financial news. The full-size Ford pickup is not only priced less than Chevy when you buy it. An independent study shows it costs less to operate while you own it. And it's worth more when you sell it. From the moment you buy it to the moment you sell it, Ford put Chevy in the red and you in the black. More people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
I used to have dandruff, so I tried Head & Shoulders. Then I tried Selsun Blue. Blue is better.
Selsun Blue relieves dandruff flaking better than Head & Shoulders, and doctors recommend it more than Head & Shoulders, Denerex, and Tegrin.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue.
Extra strength Rolaids Antacids. Stronger because it has more calcium carbonate, more than any Tums tablet. Extra strength Rolaids. 1,000 milligrams of calcium carbonate and salt-free. This settles it once and for all.
Strike out to score more.
I just can't seem to find the pocket.
Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR and let Bo Burton's instructional home videos, Score More, help you solve your bowling problems.
Here's what the pros do.
Learn Bo's valuable tips on performance, practice techniques, body conditioning, and equipment selection, and Score More. Only $24.98 plus $3 shipping. To order Bo's home video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Well, in our first match, McDowell defeating Ron Palombi 215 to 169. Moving up the step ladder, Monacelli comes in, first tournament of this year, and eliminates McDowell 224 to 211. Now, 2 great champions head-to-head in our semifinal match. It'll be Amleto Monacelli going against Mike Aulby, 2 players of the year. 2 big earners, believe me, in the world of professional bowling. There's Mike, the left-hander. Let's learn more about Mike, up close and personal.
I think Mike Aulby is a good influence on kids, and he's a real good guy, and he's really nice. I like Mike Aulby because he helped me a lot, and when I was in the lower leagues, he came over and helped me and taught me how to be a better bowler. I think Mike Aulby
1,600 Indiana youth participate in Mike Aulby bowling leagues. It's Mike's way of showing his home state pride.
Every Saturday that I'm home, I go out and work with the kids, and usually I'll bowl one frame with them on each lane, and they'll bowl against my scores with their handicap, and I'll stay around and sign autographs and answer questions and that. And I'm very proud of Indianapolis. I'm very proud to be from here and live here. So many things about Indianapolis that are great. It's a big city, but yet it's spread out. There's a lot of rural life. Downtown's a great place to go and enjoy yourself, a lot of things to do. I'm just very proud of Indiana and Indianapolis and being part of it.
Mike set a Pro Bowlers Tour earnings record in 1989, highlighted by a U.S. Open win.
It's a winner.
For Mike Aulby, his 17th PBA title. Back home in Indiana, Mike and wife Tammy have welcomed a new baby who happens to have a great name.
He's a very happy baby. I mean, he just, very rarely does he get upset or mad, and he just gets joy out of little bitty things, and he's, like I said, you can see he's always in a joyful mood, and he's always excited, so I don't see him mad too often. He loves bowling. He hears pins on TV. He has to run and watch the TV, except he hates commercials. When that happens, he gets a little upset. So he's a lot of fun for us. We've had a great time with him.
Indiana's Mike Aulby, winning his first tournament of the year. All right, and here's Mike Aulby now, Dad, with another practice shot here before he goes head-to-head with Amleto Monacelli.
Aulby gets 6 practice shots. The tournament leader gets 10, so that would be Mike Edwards, who has never won. He'll be in the final match against two of the toughest players we have in all of bowling, Aulby and Monacelli. This could be one of the best matches of the year. Neither one of these fellows give it away.
Last year, Amleto won over $204,000. Mike Aulby set a record, winning nearly $300,000, set the PBA record the previous year. Won the Masters in 1989, but 90 was an off year for Mike.
Mike trying to come back. First shot.
So it's a 7-pin for the left-hander.
Both these players will get good pin action. As you see how Mike Aulby got to the top 5 positions, 42 games. The first 18 games are qualifying. The next 24 games of match play finals, Aulby qualifying second. And both these players will get good pin action because Aulby's playing the outside line, Monacelli playing the big hook.
All right. So the second place finisher in this big field. Overall, coming into the finals, Mike Aulby can take a rest after marking with a spare. And here's Monacelli. If you just joined us, he defeated Marc McDowell in the previous match, 224 to 211. And for Monacelli, it's a tough one to convert.
Well, he just can go for 2 pins as he's gone for the 4, 6, 7. All he can do is get the ball over in the 4-7 zone, hopefully pounce one of the pins out, but Monacelli will take out the 2 pins, settle for 9, keep his stroke going, and work on the second frame.
So it's an open for Amleto. There they are. The great champion Byron Nelson and his lovely wife Peggy. Oh, the joy of doing all those telecasts, Bo, with that man.
Probably the greatest individual year of any sports athlete. Won 11 pro tournaments in a row with a 68.3 average on the Pro Golf Tour in 1945.
Okay. Joins us every year. He's recovering from hip replacement surgery. Taking a little longer than he'd like because he'd like to be out playing.
Now Aulby, who's taking a little different angle of attack to the pocket. There's no track or wear on the left side lane, so he's playing out around the first arrow.
Mike leaving a 3-pin. Profile replay.
Mike Aulby drops that left shoulder slightly, but watch how he keeps the swing inside. That's the most important part. You see this part here? He drops it inside right next to his right foot, out over the first arrow. Doesn't beat himself by throwing the ball high in the early going of the match. Keeps the ball wide, feels the lane out. Spare here, he'll lead by 10.
You saw earlier that Mike loves working with children. So does this mother of two, Donna De Verona, our cherished colleague at ABC. She and her husband, John Pinto, came and joined us today, and we're just delighted that they took time out to see these pros at work. Gold medal winner, Donna.
Now we'll see how Aulby is attacking the championship pair. He's going to start more towards the center with a very short approach. He'll end up over on the right sideline and play a shot between the first and second arrows, much farther outside than the other players.
A 7.
3-pound, 8-ounce pins today. Just not behaving exactly the way Aulby wants on that shot, but he has to be very happy with it. As he hit the pocket, Tammy Aulby doesn't really know how to react yet. The match is still in the early going.
She looks great, doesn't she? Mother of Christopher.
Definitely. Here's a change Aulby's made in his game. He used to throw the big hook ball at the 7-pin and left-hand spares. Now he throws a straight shot. Much better.
Mike and Tammy's brother-in-law, professional Steve Cook, finished 51st. Steve marrying Tammy's sister.
All in the family.
Mm-hmm. And Rodolfo, Amleto's brother, jaw surgery. Thus, he is not in the States as yet. Ooh. And there he is. That precision. After an open, he doubles. Leads by 1.
You know, it's interesting. You watch a player, even in practice, when you're home practicing, you get lined up on a pair of lane as Monacelli is, and then you take a break, go back and get a soda or something, and answer a telephone call. You normally will go high the first couple of shots. Now, Aulby went high in the, Monacelli went high in the first frame. He's recovered, but here's the key shot. Can he hit the left-hand lane?
Well, Monacelli now leads by 11 pins, a 3-bagger in the semifinal game. Monacelli against Aulby. We'll be back.
Has no eyebrows. Venus de Milo lacks arms. Chickens have no lips. Why? Ask why. Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So when it comes to refreshment, nothing's missing.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Big Ten rivals take the court as Purdue invades Ohio State to meet the red-hot Buckeyes. It's the tip-off of an ABC college basketball doubleheader tomorrow.
College basketball tomorrow. Another round ball sport, 30th year on ABC. Professional bowling, one of the best. Trailing by 11, spare up 4th frame. And let's go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Tournament leader Mike Edwards. Mike, 6 years ago, 4-9 split kept you from winning your first title. You have a chance for a bittersweet victory today against one of the best players in the world. How do you feel going in?
I feel good, Bo. I feel pretty loose. I'm going to stay focused and be aggressive today.
It's going to be a tough champion, whoever you beat.
Yeah, I'm not really worrying about who I bowl. I'm just going to bowl the lanes.
This could be his time, Chris. Let's watch for Mike Edwards in the final. Back to you.
All right. Mike Aulby. And now, only one pin separates these players of the year. 29-year-old Monacelli, 30-year-old Mike Aulby. Imagine this. At 30 years of age, Aulby has won 19 titles, including the U.S. Open, the ABC Masters, PBA National. Monacelli. Putting a 4-bagger together and keeps that 11-pin lead. And Jeannie Halsey, who is always our gracious hostess when we come to this area. She owns the Forum Bowl. They have redone it, redecorated it, and we congratulate Jeannie and her son Randy, daughter Brenda, Harriet, Super job.
First-class operation. This is the 15th Quaker State. We'll come back for 16th next year. Now, Monacelli with 4 in a row.
Make it 5 in a row. Speaking of Jeannie Halsey, the biggest benefiters of these tournaments over the years, I think, are the Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children. Over 10,000 on an outpatient basis, and Lori Walton and Peggy Black have done such a great job with the hospital and the youngsters.
PBA has raised over $150,000 for them.
Oh, yes. We're seeing at the very, very best Mike Aulby. How's he worked out this year to get back in the groove?
1990 was a year of missed opportunities for me. I lost 5 position round games on Friday night, which cost me 5 top 5 finals. So far, I worked very hard practicing early this week, got my timing down, and looking forward to today.
Okay, Mike Aulby, very organized, fan of photography, collects bowling trophies, victory bowling pins. Got quite a collection back home. Ooh, what did that one?
As we said, 3-pound, 8-ounce pins. Aulby gets the head pin going to the sideboard and drives it back over the 7, but does not fall down. And these pins were put in the bowling center about a week before the pros came here, so they only have about 250, 300 games on them, and pins fall down a little easier, Chris, when they've had about 1,000 games on them. But the pros like the demanding condition. They want to get what they hit.
That is Mike Aulby marks for the spare. Remember, these professionals each week bowl under PBA conditions. We'll be back.
This cleaning's taking forever.
Oh, it's not going too well, is it? You mean you're not done yet?
We're not even close.
Some people have not yet tried Tartar Control Crest.
I can't believe this.
And some people have. That was easy, because Tartar Control Crest can help make cleanings easier.
A new world's record, huh?
After all, it is the toothpaste more dentists recommend. Highly commendable.
Great. See you later.
Tartar Control Crest. It's hard on tartar and easy on you.
Do I get a lollipop?
This winter, everyone wants to go to the Sunshine State. Why? Because bowling's high rollers are there for the Florida Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
From Florida next week, and here in Grand Prairie, Texas, Vice President of Marketing, Quaker State. 15th year that they have sponsored this event, Scott Chickering.
And they're upping the prize fund $25,000 more for 1992. Now, Monacelli, 7th frame, has 5 strikes in a row. 12-pin lead can make it 22.
Six of them, count them. Coming up on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the Harlem Globetrotters bring their basketball magic to Walt Disney World in Florida. Plus, Kitty and Peter Carruthers take to the ice in the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions from Barcelona, Spain. All next, ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Monacelli the machine, that's what he looks like right now, and that's what he must look like to Aulby. Aulby just has to root for a mistake here. Monacelli, 6 in a row.
When things are going good, they are on a roll.
Watch the head pin. Goes to the sideboard. The power of Monacelli. This is the only shot we've had like this all day long. He has the power. He drives out to 10. He's got to like it. He extends his lead to 32.
And then your opponent breaks up the split but leaves the 7.
That's a very similar shot for the left-hander as what Monacelli carried in the 8th frame. Now watch the action of the head pin. With not quite as much power as Monacelli, he doesn't get the action off the sideboard. The head pin goes to the right sideboard, kicks back across, doesn't have quite the impetus to drive out the 7. as Aulby has left 4 7-pins in this match, and that's the difference so far.
And a little bit of the plaguing that he had last year that kept him out of the winner's circle as often as he wanted.
Well, Aulby's very solid at the line. He has quite a ritual as he goes through pounding on the ball, wiping his shoes, and Aulby looks in top shape. And when he gets on a roll, Chris, he and Parker Bone, as Monacelli contemplates the 9th frame, he and Parker Bone have somewhat dominated the left side of the lane for the last couple of years. So it's good to have Aulby back. He's still in the match, needs a strike here.
The 1985 Player of the Year, Mike Aulby, was the first to win over $200,000, his wife, Tammy. Up until 85, Earl Anthony's $164,000, which he earned in 1981, was the top total. But then that 200 marker broken. Here's a man someday will go over 300.
You bet. He's been over 200 himself, and he can lock up this match with a strike here. 9th frame.
Oh, no. $43-pin lead.
Somewhat of a stoic response for a tremendous strike. Nobody has had trouble leaving solid 9s today. As you see a hand reach down and assist the ball back a little quicker to speed up our telecast. Monacelli in the driver's seat has a potential 279, 10th frame.
Came at the right time, Bo.
Same splitting left in the first frame. Starts with a split, finishes with a split. 8 strikes in between is going to be enough for a victory. Monacelli looking at the scoreboard. All he's going to do is just try and knock down the 4 and 7. If he happens to get lucky and has one of them bounce out of the pit to take out the 6, that's fine. But he's going on to meet Mike Edwards in the championship match.
All right. A 242 for the winner of the semifinal game. ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our stations.
Now, for all you rookies out there, the great Nolan Ryan will demonstrate his pitching technique.
The Bic Metal shaver, because I want to look as good off the mound as on. Before the game, it's Bic Metal. After the game, it's Bic Metal. The Bic Metal shaver, because even good old boys want to look good. The choice of this right-hander, the Bic Metal shaver. It makes me look good every time out. How's that one?
Okay, man.
Got a painful cold? Gotta get relief? Get Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. It relieves painful cold symptoms some others miss with a decongestant, antihistamine, and a pain reliever you can't find in any other leading cold medicine.
The pain's gone.
Ah, I can breathe.
Everything feels better, better, better.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Relief for your painful cold. And now for sinus and allergy relief, try new Alka-Seltzer Plus sinus allergy medicine.
Yes, here it comes. The all-new, totally new, hilariously new with $100,000 grand prize giveaway on America's Funniest Home Video. Did I mention it was new? Tomorrow.
Central Pennsylvania wakes up with Good Morning America.
Weekday mornings at 7, here on 27 WHTM.
Strike it rich in Rochester, New York at the Lilac City Tournament. Call 1-800-36-LILAC to enter. Bowl for over $950,000 in cash prizes. There's 14 great events. Enter the men's, women's, and mixed events. Win with the Lilac. There's singles, doubles, and team events. So enter now. Everybody wins with a great time at the Lilac. It's the world's fastest growing bowling tournament. And we plan to pay over $950,000. Win with the Lilac.
Catch the Carl Rabbit Sports Report tonight at 6.
ABC News, this is a Gulf War update.
I'm Carol Simpson in Washington.
The sirens wailed again in Israel as Iraq fired another Scud missile today. The missile, however, fell short of major cities, apparently landing instead on the Arab-populated West Bank. No reports of casualties yet. Meanwhile, at today's Allied briefing in Riyadh, the U.S. said another 2,600 sorties have been flown in the last 24 hours, and another Scud missile site was bombed overnight. The Allied command also revealed that 2 more U.S. aircraft were shot down in combat today. That would bring to 15 the total number of American aircraft lost to hostile fire. This has been a Gulf War update.
Yes, we're now into the final match. But in our first match, Marc McDowell defeated Ron Palombi 215 to 169. Match number 2, McDowell eliminated by Monacelli 224 to 211. Monacelli continues against the great Mike Aulby 242 to 216, 8 in a row. So in the stepladder format, which has been here forever and successfully, it's Monacelli going against the tournament leader, Mike Edwards of Tulsa, Oklahoma, yet to win his first title. He's been oh so close. And coming up next week, the Florida Open from Winter Haven. 2 weeks from today, we'll still be in Florida in Sunrise, Don Carter Lanes for the Bud Light Classic.
160-man field this week, Chris. 197 average, 207. That's about average to make the top 24. Here's some of the other players. Houston just missed the top 5. Pete Weber blowing well. Frank Ellenberg having his best year. Sullins. Janelle, he's a tough clutch player. Billy Oakes, a local favorite. David Ozio, 2-time winner already this year. Chris Warren pulled a ribcage muscle, struggled through it. Dave Arnold. Tom DeLutz. He replaced Jim Stefanich, who had a little problems. Mark Roth, shady up there in 17th place. Kent Wagner, Jimmy Fritz Jr. Dale Strike, love the name, from Michigan. His dad's a great player. Kazuski. Smith, Robert Lawrence, 23rd, rounding out the top 24. Kaufman in 24th place. Chris, the scores have gone up as we've gone along. It's going to be a very, very good championship match.
All right, it's $30,000 to the winner here in Grand Prairie, Texas. 30 to the winner, 15.5 to the runner-up. Aulby taking home a check for $8,500 after losing to Monacelli. That's 9 in a row for Amleto Monacelli. 8 in his last game victory, 242 to Aulby's 216. Now, from Tulsa, 3 TVs last year, his 14th overall.
Dominated the field, led by 352 pins after 42 games.
Okay.
The powerful style of Mike Edwards. Each step is a little bit stronger. 5-step delivery. Boom. Drives right on through. Arm close to his body between the second and third arrows. And that's just the way he ran away from the field, winning 19 of the 24 match game finals. Never started slowly and picked right on up as looking for his first victory in PBA history.
And Mike Edwards leading the 10-pin, shooting on the left lane after the opening strike. He's a good size, 6'1", 185. Tall, yet he's low.
Low to the line, lost about 20 pounds in 1984-85 season and really improved his bowling. Lets him get lower, a little bit of more whip on the ball as he comes through, and right now needs a 10-pin.
A 4th and 3rd this year and a 33rd in the first tournament. Mike's 3rd consecutive telecast. Monacelli's very first. And
you see the grip of Monacelli, the full fingertip down to just the first knuckle of the fingers, the big long swing, the powerful release.
High hit, nonetheless, all of them go down. A double. Wow, is he powerful today.
You're right, Chris. Very demanding lane conditioning. He's making it look very easy. He's relaxed, very confident, and he has all the strikes going. He's been carrying the solid hits. He trips the 4 out on that one, and we saw him rip them up on the light hits. So far today, he's averaged over 230 in the championship round. As you see the ribbon in memory of our troops over in the Gulf. Nice of him to wear that, being a Venezuelan.
He now has 11 in a row, 8 in that last victory, as we pointed out, and he takes a 20-pin lead, putting the pressure on Mike Edwards, who has just tried for 9 years to win that first title. He was second in the Masters to Mike Aulby. He has just been there knocking on the door. Now the pressure shot here in the third frame, spare working. All right. That was sort of a must early.
I think we could all pick that up as you see his style driving in the line. Very powerful. Slides down about an inch from the foul line. And the key for Mike Edwards, as you see the ball driving all 10 pins in the pit, is to stay low all the way through his delivery. If he pulls up slightly before he releases the ball, he has a wild shot. And as you said, Chris, he's in a must situation. He needs to keep pressure on Aulby here in the fourth frame. He's 20 pins behind.
And he does just that with a double here, cutting Monacelli's lead to 10 pins. This is a championship match, the Quaker State Open.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee. A guarantee so tough, your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Extra-strength Rolaids antacid, stronger because it has more calcium carbonate, more than any Tums tablet. Extra-strength Rolaids, 1,000 milligrams of calcium carbonate and salt-free. This settles it once and for all.
Only one antiperspirant in the world helps keep you so dry with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice. Only one deodorant in the world has so many odor-fighting ingredients with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice. There's only one Old Spice.
Amleto Monacelli, first tournament at 1991, and he is in the final match against the tournament leader, Mike Edwards. He has 3 in a row after 8 in a row in his victory over Mike Aulby. Make it 4. Okay.
Monacelli, a good all-around athlete, was once a right forward on the Italian national soccer team. Mike Edwards squeezing the rosin bag is 55 pins ahead of the score he had at this time in 4 frames last week in Pinole Valley. So he's still trailing by 20, though, 5th frame.
Pin clause for Monacelli's great string.
Monacelli, another almost impossible split. The best thing for Monacelli to do is go for the 6-10. If he gets a break, he can slide the 6 over into the 4.
So that for Monacelli is 115 through the 5th frame. Still has a 5-pin lead, but Mike Edwards now of Tulsa, the non-winner, has a chance to take a lead by 5 with a double working 5th frame. So it's a 10-pin on the right lane for Mike, and there's his wife, Meg. Isn't she pretty? What a smile.
As Mike Edwards has looked very good in this match. Strike, 10-pin, 2 strikes, 10-pin. That's the kind of style for 10 frames you win tournaments with.
Okay. 6 years ago, Mike had some problems here keeping him from winning. Is that setback still in his mind?
I think the past 2 weeks I got away from my game plan a little bit. I tried to make too many changes. And today I'm going to stay more focused and stick with my game plan and see what happens.
And he's doing just that as he's been around the pocket all 5 frames, trails Monacelli by 6.
pin, a 10 on the left lane.
Mike Edwards bowls 10 frames like that, Chris, in the championship match. He will beat Monacelli. This is good bowling under extremely tough conditions, and he's got a lot of bears on his back. One of not winning, one of leaving the 4-9 split here against Durbin in '85, a bad break, all adding up on this young man. But if he can make good shots every frame, he'll win.
Cross lane, sticking a bit at the line, but he's checking it out now. Tulsa Junior College. Studied communications. His mom and dad, Gene and Jim, watching back in Tulsa, have been very supportive, like so many parents are of professionals. And after an open, back to Monacelli, the real Amleto Monacelli.
Tell you what experience means on a professional bowler's tour. Monacelli in his first 100 tournaments over a period of 3.5 years cashed 39% of the time. In his last 100-plus tournaments, he's cashed 75% of the time. And he's been winning at a rate of 1 out of every 11 tournaments in the past 2 years.
And with that, he's back out to a 17-10 lead. He's just relentless. He never lets up. And here now is the fan of soap operas. Dozens of soap stars are teaming to benefit the Manhattan Class Company in Manhattan tomorrow at the Bowmore Lanes, Bo. University Place, Manhattan.
Sounds like fun.
And Mike said if he were available, he'd go join them. He just loves to watch the soaps.
Mike Edwards, who is using a very hard, shiny bowling ball, has conquered these lanes by reducing the surface friction of the ball and playing almost a normal line on the lanes. Now you watch him, he'll be taking a position almost like a standard track shot, what we call it. Now he has a 6-step delivery, drifts a little to the left, and will be playing right between the second and third arrows.
And again, a 10-pin.
Well, he said he wanted to stay focused. He is staying focused. Don't get discouraged, Mike. There's 10 frames in a game. At this point, he'll trail Monacelli by 17, but it's not over yet.
Here in our final match, the thing that makes this country so great, we really have a cross-section of ancestries in both North and South America. Italian heritage from Venezuela, Amleto Monacelli. Cherokee and Choctaw heritage, the tournament leader, Mike Edwards. Leaving a 10-pin, Amleto Monacelli.
This has been such a well-bowled match by both players, Chris.
Does he look like the great legend Jim Thorpe? He should, because Bill Thorpe, one of Jim's sons. Great bowler here at Forum Lanes. Worked in the aircraft industry here for years. Looks just like his pop, doesn't he?
Enjoys the action.
Sack and Fox. This is for the championship.
Here's a man who is trained down from 180 pounds. He used to weigh, took up physical conditioning, bowling, a lot of jogging, and obviously has dominated the bowling game for the last 2 years. Right now he only weighs 150, in top shape, and leads this match as we go into the critical 9th frame by 16 pins. Monacelli.
In the 9th frame.
I said to Mike Edwards, sitting in the announce booth, hit around the pocket and the opponent will come to you. For Monacelli, he needs to make the 6, 7, 10, right? The 6 over into the 10. He'd get the ball over here in the 6-pin zone, run it over in the 7. This is how it's made.
Can that take the wind out of your sails? Holy mackerel.
How do you become player of the year? Clutch situations you perform. Edwards still in the match, though, as he steps off to let the crowd quiet down. Good, smart move. If Mike Edwards wins this, Chris, he will have truly, truly earned his first title, going against the best and everything going against him so far.
And for 9 years, he's been battling. Won more money than any non-winner ever on the tour. Win or lose, you have to give that young pro a lot of credit, though. After that conversion and then the crowd noise, hey, that's putting it together in a short period of time.
And over a long period of time, Chris, the moment of truth has come around for Mike Edwards. On this very lane, 6 years ago, he needed a strike to win the tournament, left a 4-9 split. Right now, he needs a strike to have a chance to win the match. He absolutely must strike on this ball to have a chance.
Meets that challenge. Meg Edwards, his wife. Quaker State Open. We've had some great finishes here. We've had great champions winning the event. This is the 15th.
18 games of qualifying led by Pete Weber. Edwards dominated the field, and now it's come down to this very final shot to take the lead, to prove himself and to everybody else he's a champion. He needs this one.
Left the 2-8.
Raised up just a little bit at the line, a little anxious, but it's not over. He has a 216 possibility. He forces Monacelli to get 16 pins in the 10th frame. And we saw last week, Mark there in that same situation, handed it to Brian Voss, so it's not over yet.
Carefully makes that spare. Mike Edwards, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Third consecutive telecast, a fourth and a third, and now this today.
Monacelli needs 16 pins. That means a mark in the 10th frame and a good count to win the title. That's not a sure thing in this bowling center, so if he makes this, he needs 7 to win. If he misses it, Edwards is the winner.
Capacity crowd, along with all of you. Bo has told you the situation for the last 2 years, Player of the Year, and there is Mike. Remember I pointed out Amleto had 6 second-place finishes before he won his first professional title in the Japan Cup. Amleto Monacelli comes on to win his 10th PBA title, a handshake from a disappointed, and there it is, the key moment in that championship match. 6-7-10 conversion from Texas for the moment. Let's go to the studio in New York and my colleague Frank Gifford.
Okay, Chris, an exciting match. Basketball note for you. The nation's longest home losing streak continues as the University of New Hampshire was defeated by Maine this afternoon, 71-68. That streak now stands at 32 games. And in the women's giant slalom at the World Alpine Ski Championships today, American skier Eva Twardokens finished 5th. The event was won by Sweden's Pernilla Viberg. Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports will feature the Harlem Globetrotters. And we'll be going back to Chris Schenkel right after this. Stay with us.
When it was first introduced, Ford Taurus became a tremendous success. Naturally, this made Taurus a target for the competition. But while they've been taking aim, we've been making Taurus even better, with improvements in ride, handling, and performance, and safety advances like a driver's airbag and anti-lock brakes. Because everybody knows it's much harder to hit a moving target.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
You got the right one, baby. These days, as soon as you get a hit song, everybody thinks they can sing it better.
You got the right one, baby. Oh. You got the right one, baby.
You got the right thing. You got the right one. You got the right one, everybody. Infinitely blissful, spiritually wonderful Diet Pepsi,
He can do it. He really can.
You got the right one, baby. Baby, you got the right one.
I thought I was great. I hope you liked it.
Do I get a call back?
How's that?
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
When you're all stuffed up and use an ordinary nasal spray, it drips into your tissue where it can't help you breathe. But not Sinex Ultrafine Mist. Its medicine stays where you need it, so you can breathe the way you want to. We don't drip down, we clear up.
If one antacid was recommended most by doctors, if it was recommended most by pharmacists, and if it was trusted by hospitals as well, it could only be Mylanta, the antacid doctors recommend most.
In winning his 10th title, Amleto Monacelli picks up a check for $30,000 and the Quaker State Open trophy, the check by Scott Chickering, Quaker State Vice President of Marketing, and the proprietor, the lovely Jeannie Halsey, who is always such a great hostess, giving the trophy to Amleto Monacelli, who defeated Mike Edwards 220 to 216. See you in Florida next week.
Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the Harlem Globetrotters bring their magic to Walt Disney World, plus the pairs competition from the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions. The Professional Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Bud Dry, for refreshment that's beyond question. And by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.